All right, you guys hear us okay?
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Vinny.
Hey, Josh, after getting a chance to take a look at the film, when you look at the offensive line, 159 yards rushing, there were the 5 sacks. What were your thoughts about the offensive line and specifically also Alex Leatherwood over at right tackle?
I think we did some decent things. We played hard. In the running game, we were able to create some opportunities for the backs to get started. And then we probably missed some opportunities as well, just relative to a few things, communication, double teams. There's a few techniques that Jacksonville uses that, we haven't quite seen yet. So, this is always going to happen in the preseason when you don't practice for 3 days leading up to the opponent. And so that was a good thing for us to be able to see, somebody else plays a different technique on the line. And now it creates another type of communication and an adjustment. So we'll be able to coach off of that today, which will be good. There's a few things in the protection where we're just a hair late relative to making an adjustment on some type of a game or stunt that they used. They did a good job in some of those things. So again, a lot of different people working with a lot of different people, and there were different reasons why we gave up a few pressures and sacks. And again, we'll have an opportunity to coach off of that today. Specifically to Alex, I thought he does what he always does, comes in there and competes, tries to do his job the right way. And he's just put his head down and try to get better. And, the snaps he was in there yesterday, I thought he did the same thing.
Hey, Josh, just to follow up on Brandon Parker, what were your thoughts on the way he played? And do you think the move to the left side was a part of the problem last night?
A lot of guys have to play multiple positions. So, that can't be part of the problem. So, we have to be able to, a lot of guys played multiple spots last night, because you have to have depth at the game somehow, some way. There were a few things obviously that Brandon can do better. There were also some things where there was some things we were trying to do offensively where we didn't execute them very well. That didn't have anything to do with Brandon. So a lot of things go into pass protection, as I've said before. If you want to be good in pass protection, you got to do a lot of things right. It's not just one man's responsibility. The timing of the play, where the quarterback's, if he's stepping up in the pocket, if the back's supposed to be, helping or chipping on the edge, there's a lot of things that are coordinated to go into a good pass protection unit. Certainly after our first game, we're not where we want to or need to be. And that's why we'll work hard today on the film to correct that.
Hey, Josh, kind of a follow-up question stemming from that. Obviously, Brandon, he's played a lot of right tackle in practice. When a guy plays another position in the game, does that sort of change how you evaluate him, or are you more so looking at kind of the core fundamentals of how he's just playing as a lineman overall?
Both. Like I said, there's a lot of times where our guys have had to play multiple positions, and so that's just the nature of football. And we had 2 or 3 guys yesterday play 3 spots. So you evaluate what they do. The more things they can do across the line, the more value they provide to your team. And you have to have, like I said, you can't go to the game and there's not a backup for every guy on the offensive line. So somebody's going to have to be ready to play multiple spots. And that's maybe somebody who's starting, and if something happens and there's an injury, you may have to flop somebody or what have you. But in order to find the right group that's going to be able to do that, you're going to need to see people play multiple spots. And that's what we've tried to do since we started practicing.
Coach, I meant to ask you last night. We only saw Nate Hobbs play in a couple of series, but he played on the outside and looked very natural, and he's done that before. What did you think of what you saw from Hobbs on the outside last night?
Yeah, Nate's done a good job, all spring, all summer of really competing, very competitive guy. He's worked at multiple spots. And so, we worked him outside last night, and DP was inside when he was there. Like I said, just really trying to give every guy an opportunity to compete at some of those different roles that they're practicing in. Nate didn't really give up much production last night. And so I thought he did his job the right way.
Hey, Josh, what would, obviously you've kind of said what the biggest takeaway for you was from that game last night. What's the biggest takeaway the players should take away from their performance and what they did on the field?
I think there's a lot of positives relative to our overall effort, the way we competed. I thought the guys played hard from the very first play to the last play, and there was a lot of things that I thought showed up in the film that you do in smaller groups and smaller pods in practice and training camp. The one-on-one drills. I mean, when you watch the game over, there's a lot of plays where there's 4 one-on-one pass rush drills going on at the same time, and so when you go back to practice next Monday, you say, hey, when we go to that one-on-one drill, I mean, it showed up, 29 times last night, or the 2-on-2 pass rush drills, or whatever the run drills are, or the running, and we call them running and tackling drills, where we don't actually tackle, but it's where you're trying to maintain your leverage and the ball carriers are trying to cut off somebody. All those little things that you do in practice in smaller groups, they all showed up last night, and I think that the players, when they see this today, when we get the chance to watch and coach the film today, it won't be hard to see where practice actually could make us better, because a lot of the things that they're doing in practice, and there's a lot of them making progress, then showed up in the game. So it kind of always happens that way, where you're doing a lot of this stuff, and then until you actually play a game and then you see it show up there, it's hard to sink in. But I think that point will be made, and they'll see that today clearly.
Coach, you were talking about a couple of guys that you had playing 3 different positions, one of them being Dylan Parham. Just from his first game, what were some things that you just kind of noticed about maybe the way that he played or the way he composed himself that you might have liked?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for a first game to play multiple spots like that, I don't think Dylan was out of position much. I think the calls when he was at center, I think he was doing a decent job of getting us headed in the right direction there. His communication was pretty good. Like most rookies, once you get into, games in our league, there's just a different tempo to the reactions and some of those things. So he'll see that. A lot of our young guys will see how quickly they need to be able to adjust and react on the field to certain things. But overall, I thought Dylan competed hard, played a lot of different snaps at a lot of different spots, and, gained some valuable experience that will make us better as we go forward.
Hey, Josh, in these games, sometimes guys who are kind of off the radar jump up and flash. I was wondering your thoughts on Matthias Farley, what he brings to the mix.
Yeah, he plays hard. He's been he's been this way. When you watch him on film, he's been this way his whole career. So competitive guy, can contribute in the kicking game, eager tackler, got called for the 1 penalty last night, but that wasn't because he wasn't trying to do anything wrong. He's just coming up there and being aggressive. So like his physicality, good teammate, guy who knows what his job is, helps others. So I thought, he came in there and competed at multiple roles last night.
We'll do one more for Chris.
Hey, Josh, I was wondering, I hope you had a chance to see the little Twitter or TikTok with the guys in the Uber and so forth. I thought it was really neat. But what my question was, maybe bonding is an overused word, but an experience like this, where they go out to the Hall of Fame, many guys had never been there to see that, the bonding, I guess, and just kind of, it seemed like the guys had a genuinely fun time out there. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see the Twitter or TikTok. I really don't have either one of those things, but you could see the reaction from the players. I thought our guys went there with the right mentality. We know we went a day early, and we went a day early for a reason. We wanted to go see the unveiling of the Marion Motley statue there in front of the Hall of Fame, which I thought our guys really appreciated that and the history behind it.
And then to be able to go through the Hall of Fame and take our time and really take in some of the history and tradition of the game. I really enjoyed watching them, go through it and literally just, stop and read the things that were there to be read and just learn about the game and, look, they're all part of it now, and so I thought our guys really got a lot out of the trip, interpersonally and professionally understanding the league a little better and the great players and coaches and people that have made our game so great for so long. And that was our hope and goal when we decided to do this. And I thought the other thing that happened was I thought they were all ready to go by the time we played the game last night, so going there 2 days early, you never know exactly how that's going to go, but I didn't think that affected our mindset and approach to the game at all. So overall, I was very pleased with what we got out of the trip and the way our guys approached it.
Let's do final question for Q.
Coach, real quick, that first play of the game, Jarrett Stidham attempted to go deep. Was that your tip of the cap to Cliff Branch?
Cliff Branch and Mr. Davis, that was a staple. Cliff was a fast guy, obviously made a bunch of big plays in his career, big important plays and big important games. And that's why he's going into the Hall of Fame here, tomorrow. And I know Mr. Davis, both Mr. Davises are big fans of the long ball. So yes, that was an ode to the Raiders, Cliff Branch, and the way that Mr. Davis, both of them enjoy that type of play. So we tried to, didn't go off exactly the way that we hoped it would, but it ended up in our favor regardless.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.